Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio. Ours is a place where dreams take flight, voices are heard, and stories are shared. This is where cultures meet, connections are formed, and ideas are transformed into action. This is your destination for authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives, and meaningful conversations. We're where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover our world of education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our USA Global TV channel and download our USA Global TV app. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. With heartfelt thanks to our executive producer, Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck, music scored by Yifei Tang from Cloud Road Music, creative direction by Paul Garcia, and I'm Al Cini, and I'm very proud to be part of the USA Global TV and Radio family. So join us here at USA Global TV and Radio. Make us your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication, or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited. Thank you for being a part of our global community. Let's inspire together.
Hello and welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where we provide world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Our show today is A Woman's Prerogative in partnership with E360 TV. Our topic today, exploited trust, how oversharing opens the door to manipulation. I'm Caroline Heward. I'm absolutely thrilled and honoured to be representing Dr. Jacqueline as your host for USA Global TV and Radio's flagship show, A Woman's Prerogative. I'm a TV presenter on the channel and also the resident therapist. A warm welcome to all of our loyal viewers and our friends at E360 TV. Hello to all of our usual friends on our usual social media platforms, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and X. I'm joined today by our wonderful full-time panelist, Reverend Lydia Fougeres, all the way from Canada. It's always wonderful to share this platform with her because I realize in the many months that we have been working together that the Canadians are very similar to the British. Reverend Lydia Fougeres is a TV presenter and has her own show twice monthly in French. She is an author of bilingual self-help books. She's a registered nurse, holistic nurse. She is an intuitive spiritual healer. She invented Miracle Mist, which is patent pending, and she's an advocate for free rights. Let's give a huge welcome to our wonderful full-time panelist, Reverend Lydia Fougeres.
Hello. It's nice to be there. That was very nice.
Wonderful to have you here, Reverend Lydia. Please do share with our viewers a little bit about what you do and how you bring value to your clients, and also how you bring value on the platform, not only in this show, but in your own French version of your own show.
Well, what I do is that I work with my books, books that I wrote, 111 Reflections for Thy Earth Odyssey. So those books, I work as a spiritual teacher to transform, bring introspection, bring mindfulness to those that work with me, compassion and self-discovery. I invite my readers to engage in life through curiosity, clarity, and sense of sacred connection. I also use my show La Voix de la Guérison, which is a French show, to actually bring them on the holistic road. So every week, what I do is that, I use a new modality. So we went through witchcraft, we went through guided imagery. So every single week there's a new topic, blessings, and I do have fun making it. And I am country manager for USA Global TV and Radio for the French countries. And if someone wants to do a show or host a show or be a guest, they can join me. It will be my great pleasure. I will make sure they can join Dr. Jacqueline, who is our wonderful founder, owner, and mentor. So thank you.
Thank you, wonderful Reverend Lydia. And thank you very much for sharing about your TV show, because it's in French. I've not seen it, and that's because it's in French. So it's good to hear for myself personally, it's good to hear what your shows are about and what you're covering, because it's all in French. So thank you very much for sharing that. For me, I'm known as the Harley Street stress expert, and I help people bust their stress. How do I do that? I work with root cause therapy and chakra psychology, how the mind and body connects and what happens to the person physically, emotionally, mentally, behaviorally when there's an imbalance. And the imbalance is the symptom. It's whatever we are complaining about, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a physical, emotional, or mental issue, whether it's stress, anxiety, or it's more about our reaction to something or someone or an event or a situation. So I help people by working with the blueprint of when the problem first originated and break through the root cause using root cause therapy and chakra psychology. I'm also a speaker. I speak on stage, both live and on podcasts and this channel. And I'm also the resident therapist. I provide lunch and learn events, which is lunchtime, either online or face-to-face. And I'm also speaking at various international events online, which is quite a privilege to be part of. So let's get into the topic. Reverend Lydia, I looked at this because as a topic, I felt that it's something in today's climate, in today's world, that we, especially the younger people, they seem to share so much. When my mum tells me something, she says, "Don't share this on social media. This is confidential." But it seems to be, especially younger people in particular, their lives almost are in a fishbowl. And I felt that, this was an important topic to look at, because when our trust is exploited because of our oversharing, it actually opens the door for manipulation. And we live in this world where it's become automatic to share. We post our feelings, our fears, our dramas, our dreams. We even post our deepest wounds. And we often to people we've never even met or had any social or physical engagement with. It opens up for us to be vulnerable. It can be a beautiful bridge for connection. And at the same time, it can also make us a target. We will explore in tonight's show why we overshare, how trust can be and is manipulated, and hidden agendas. And beneath the innocent conversations, what's really going on. The psychology behind disclosure and the subtle red flags of manipulation. You'd be surprised how people can manipulate you by the very words that they choose to respond with, and how we can protect ourselves while still forming meaningful relationships. So looking at this topic, what's your thoughts about why do we overshare? And what I'm looking at is the psychology behind our disclosure of why we share things. And I'm looking specifically online because we are in a global environment where we share all sorts of things, and we don't know who's observing, who's watching, who's reading, who's listening. So what are your thoughts about why do we overshare?
I think we overshare because lots of us feel lonely. So people think they are reaching out to someone by creating some kind of bond, by sharing. It is a way of making friends. They try to make friends, so they try to have someone's trust, and they think that if they share, the person will share in return. but it is not the way it works, actually. So the person actually, I would say that 50% of the time, the person will share something, but it will be a lie. So usually people should not share their lives. They can share things like I do, a sunset, a sunrise. I do things like that. But sharing their private life is a little it's a little touchy. It is a little touchy. It is a way to reach out at the same time. And those who suffer share a lot because they're looking for help. That is the way it is used to. So sharing at the same time is a way to stop the suffering.
I'm nodding my head here in the background, Reverend Lydia, to some of the things that you have just shared there as valuable insights to why do we overly share. And I just want to talk about an expose documentary that I watched last week. And it was depicting this young guy that was only 19 when he started sharing his life on social media, sharing his life on Instagram, and driving around in a Maserati and, being in the Shard in London and wining and dining in the top restaurants and the best places. And it was an expose on the fact that his life was not actually how it really was. And he was persuading people to, by the very nature of his private and personal home and living standards and shares, he was attracting a huge following. He was an influencer, they call them. And as an influencer, he was attracting many people to book onto an online trading Forex forum and asking people to part with very large amounts of money and borrowing money, saying, you can have this lifestyle, just follow me, do what I say, and you will also win. It turned out when they did catch up with him a number of years later, he said he was an affiliate marketer and he was borrowing these things and it wasn't really true. And he was 19 years old in 2018 before the world changed. And it really impacted a lot of people. They lost a lot of money. And this is how, when we share our lives, we project something that might not be quite true to our lives. And he wasn't sorry, but what he did admit a number of years later was that none of it was real and he wasn't earning that much money, but he wanted to look good and attract followers. What are your thoughts about what I've just shared, Reverend Lydia, in terms of the fact that we believe so much of what we see, that how much is real behind what's being shown?
Well, I know someone that actually wrote a book about how to be a millionaire by the age of 21. When he had borrowed the car, he had borrowed the house, he had borrowed everything, and he was going around as a millionaire. And he was actually taking the bus and he was sleeping on a park bench. And his book sold like crazy. So you see, it is just a thing about what you see. So that is the way. So they use that modality, and that person actually that you were explaining, that person you were explaining, he's not the only one. There are many that actually do those kinds of things, and it is quite dangerous actually to share many things. We should not share that much on our lives. We can share what our neighbor did, as a meal. That is fun, and we can share things like that. But I admit to myself, to you, I admit to everyone that, I have shared things with my ex-husband that he used against me. So the thing is that, it was not something serious, but the thing is that, he still used it against me. He just exaggerated the thing and used it against me. So you think you know someone, you share something, and then they use it against you. So oversharing is quite dangerous because giving too much information is giving too much power to someone.
Thank you so much, Reverend Lydia, for your vulnerability and for your disclosure. That's not easy, I know. And when I share my vulnerability, I do it usually from a place of transformation. And what I'm hearing here is that it was a difficult time, but you've moved through that, and there is wisdom that's come from that experience. But one of the things that we are doing is, on one level, what makes us believe that others will protect what we reveal, especially if they are manipulators, and especially if they want to control or manipulate you in a future time. And it's so easy because we don't know who's behind the screen, and we don't really know each person unless we get to know them in all aspects of their life. On screen, we can be very deceptive, and we can show a part of us that isn't the whole part of us. It's not our true selves, it's the reflection of what we want to show. So is oversharing a sign of seeking connection? And you mentioned earlier on that some people are seeking connection. Especially, I see a lot of posts from trauma groups in particular, because I'm exposed to those kinds of groups because of the work that I do. And in the disclosure, this also brings comfort and connection with other people as well. And I do feel that there is some value in that. But what about when somebody turns it on you? How do we know that there aren't narcissists in the groups that are traumatized, that they're joining these groups because they're narcissists and they're looking for their next victim? So even though it can be a wonderful thing to have that validation and that connection, it can also lead to insecurities as well. We are going to, I can't believe we have now reached our first commercial break. But when we come back, what I want to look at and explore further is, does social media reward vulnerability in a way that encourages people to reveal so much more than maybe they should do? So we're looking at the narcissists and the people that want to manipulate the information that they are gaining. So let's go over to our commercial break. Please come back and join us while we explore this really fascinating topic of exploited trust, how oversharing opens the door to manipulation. See you in a couple of minutes. Thank you very much, Reverend Lydia.
In a noisy world, true connection begins with listening. Elevated listening transforms every conversation in just 5 simple steps. Pause and breathe. Set your intention. Listen with curiosity. Reflect back. Agree on one next step. Join the Listening Mentor on Let's Finally Talk with Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck, the Listening Mentor, where we help you find inner peace, one conversation at a time. Streaming every day, Let's Finally Talk TV show with Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck, only here on USA, Global TV and Radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channels to watch and engage with all our content. Every woman carries a story of strength, of purpose, of light. Through her courage, the world is transformed. Through her grace, generations are inspired. This is Iconic Women. Within every woman lives a goddess. a celebration of brilliance, beauty, and empowerment. Join us every Wednesday at 11 a.m. New York, 4 p.m. London time, only here on USA, Global TVR, and radio. Featuring the iconic Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck, honoring voices that shine across the world. Subscribe to our YouTube channels, USA Global TV and Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck, to watch and engage with all our content. World-class education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration.
Hello and welcome back to A Woman's Prerogative in partnership with E360 TV. We have been exploring exploited trust, how oversharing opens the door to manipulation. And we have been exploring this topic with our wonderful full-time panelist, Reverend Lydia Fougeres. Welcome back, Reverend Lydia Fougeres. If you are here on the live or the replay, we have explored some interesting avenues with this topic. So just before the break, I opened a question for Reverend Lydia for us to explore after the break. Does social media reward vulnerability in a way that encourages people to reveal too much? What are your thoughts, Reverend Lydia?
I think it does reward. I think it does reward, but the thing is that, we have to trust that sometimes. So the thing is that, we have to understand that, if we actually have a problem, whatever, without going into much details, we can actually show the big picture, explain the big picture, and we can have help from others that have had experiences. So we can go into non-specific details and it helps. So without divulgating so many things, we can get help. And I think social medias are good for that. I think social medias reward that because it breaks isolation. So many persons are isolated in their houses. So many people live alone now. You have elderly people that live alone. So I think it rewards, and I think it should be done also.
Thank you, Reverend Lydia. Some really wise words and an interesting perspective that, yes, it's good, and it depends on who's listening and what they do with the information. And I think that that's the key. We're not saying that it's a bad thing. It's who's listening and what are they going to do with that information that you share. So why do manipulators target emotionally open or trusting people? And how safe can a conversation be when it's turned into a psychological trap without even us noticing? I do believe it's about intent and it's about leading us to hidden agendas. What are your thoughts in terms of manipulation and why do they target emotionally and trusting open people?
Because those are easy victims.
Yeah.
Because they actually have trouble. They have troubled themselves in their lives. So they will try to find someone to listen to them. They will find someone that actually can relate to them. So the best thing is that when they ask you a question, answer by a question. That is the best thing. If they do not want to answer your question, well, answer, I see. That's my favorite answer, I see. So the thing is that if they are not willing to answer you, or if 75% of the people you talk are engineers or widowers, you're in the wrong place, because those are the ones that actually target women for money or things like that. So when someone is like too understanding and will not share themselves, so sometimes you have to be very careful. or when people just go forward and tell you too many things. There's something going on. So you've got a lot. There's a large margin.
Thank you, Reverend Lydia. Some wise shares there. So let's look at when someone is manipulating for control. They are looking for your weak spots. They're looking for the information that they can use at a later time, either at that time, and this is how narcissists work in terms of their psychological abuse, that they will listen, and they will listen empathically and intently, that they use the information in a further time against you, which causes challenges. But you don't know what the personality of the person is and how they might use that. So hidden agendas, they show up in online relationships and in new friendships. So how can we protect ourselves from overly sharing or sharing personal stuff that may be used against us? Or it might be that the person's on a soapbox and they give you their thoughts and they give you what they would do, and it's about manipulation and control. How would you handle that?
The way I would handle it is that, I would not necessarily listen to the person. I would say yes. I would say yes. Your idea seems very attractive. I might think about it, but I might not apply it because I'm a very honest person. So I would say to the person, your idea might look very smart, very attractive, but I might not use it. That is it. So I would not insult the person, that's for sure. But at the same time, I would not give in. So a person would see that I have a mind of my own and that I am not easy to target. That is the way I am. So I consider that everyone should do it that way. They should not say, oh, yeah, your idea is absolutely wonderful. No, you just say, I will consider, and just, drop the subject. That is all.
Thank you, Reverend Lydia. In looking at what we share, I remember when I first went online and I started sharing my exploits, my adventures of going to far out places. Like I spent quite a lot of time in Tampa Island studying, and I spent quite many weeks at a time in Florida and in different parts of America. Daytona Beach was one of them, and I would take pictures and show. And one of my friends who was very digital savvy, way back then, when it first became a thing, she said, you're advertising, you're not at home. And I thought that was really interesting that, yes, she was right. You're advertising, hey, look at me, I'm having a great time, but my home is free, it's empty. So it gave me another perspective, because we want to share, but it's actually giving other people information that perhaps we didn't intend to give them. And when she said that to me, she said, share when you come back about your adventures, share where you've been and what you've done and the great things, almost as a reflective. Because if you're sharing when you're on holiday, you're giving people that can find where you live quite easily now online, very, very easily to find out where you live online now. It's extraordinary, especially if you run a company, everything is there for everybody to see very easily. So we do, I feel, tend to share things that we perhaps don't realize may cause us harm by other people, and it's an unintentional thing. What are your thoughts about that, Reverend Lydia? And would you be working and erring on the side of caution, and would you just share everything and just trust? Because that's what we are. We're a global community, and we are trusting that people will be sincere and considered with the information that we're sharing.
I would not be a person that would necessarily trust, because I did something absolutely ridiculous a couple of years ago. Someone sent me flowers, and I had the flowers. I shared the fact that I received flowers at my door, and I had the bouquet right then. I was holding the bouquet, and my address, my home address and phone number were right there for people to see on Facebook. So someone called me and said, Lydia, do you know that your address is right then and there, and all your followers can see your address, your home address? So you see, it does happen, but uh, you share. You share, and you don't realize it sometimes. You just start having a conversation, and all of a sudden you just blurt something out. Well, you type something, and you do not realize you have done it. So you're not really at fault, because you did not think about it. That is all. You were in the present moment. You're not always on your guards. So I say to those that have shared, got hurt, or whatever, to forgive themselves, because the thing is that we cannot be on our guards all the time.
Thank you, Reverend Lydia. This is about trust, isn't it? This is about how much we reveal without even realizing it, because it's so normal to say things online and to post things that we're doing because we're having fun or things are great. That, sort of, I'm looking now at moving into keeping your own counsel, because many of us don't know how to keep our own counsel, and some people keep themselves very guarded. And I think that there's a line in between that of, what's not right, what's not wrong. But there's a line, a fine line between keeping your own counsel and then sharing everything. What are your thoughts about keeping your own counsel and keeping healthy boundaries with your own counsel? Because certainly if, for instance, I was sick, I know, find that very difficult to share online until I was okay again. That would be something that, so I like to do the transformation bit, that some people are very comfortable with sharing those very personal details online. So what are your thoughts about when to keep your own counsel, when to be private, and when to share?
Well, you have to be private, actually, when you are sure no one can use it against you. When you are sick, you are fragile, you are frail. This is not time to share that you are sick, because that is the time that you are so fragile that someone can use you. So no, when you are sick, or when you are not well, when you are depressed, especially when someone is depressed, I consider they should not post it at all, because people will take advantage of that. So you show your best self, and if you are not well, you say after that you had a problem, if you want to share something, but you wait for the problem to be solved.
I totally agree with that. And some people have solace. They find solace in sharing when things are really not good, or when things are really bad. But what are your thoughts about betrayed trust? When after we've been betrayed, there is a healing, because I'm a very trusting person. I'll be very open with most people. And it's often easier to talk to somebody that doesn't know you really well than to somebody that knows you really well, because this is how therapists work. We share things with therapists and with counselors because it's easier to share with someone that doesn't really know us. But the psychological impact of when it gets turned on you, that's another thing. What would you do in that situation when you shared something very personal and then somebody turned on you? How would you manage that?
You forgive. You forgive because the damage is done by you to start with. You gave them the information, I gave him the information, so I am at fault. So the thing is that, you trust, and to stop trusting the world is it's a very bad place. So the thing is that you cannot stop trusting. You have to accept the fact that you can be hurt, you will be hurt, you will be judged, people will use things against you, but so be it, because that is the challenge of life. You have to grow. So grow and be happy. You made a mistake. It's okay. No problem. That is the way I see it.
Wise words. And from what you've just shared, I would say wisdom. When there is a betrayal, then becomes wisdom. And when there has been a misplacement of your trust, in retrospect of that misplacement of trust and it's being turned against you, then my intention from that is, if that's happened, to not share, because then you don't put yourself constantly in that vulnerable position. And then you keep your own counsel. But if you thought that everybody would misplace your trust and abuse your trust, then it wouldn't be a good world to live in, because it would be difficult. We would always be looking over our shoulder. So how can somebody rebuild that trust and that sense of personal boundary after being manipulated?
Like we both did, by trusting again, by knowing that there's a better future, by knowing that life is good, even if things don't appear good all the time, doing like you and me did. We had hope, so we started showing trust again, and we just went over it. Just like we overcame the problem. So people should do like us. We overcame the problem. We're happy now, but the thing is that, we had to be hurt at some point to know that it hurts, and then that we get better. So that is why we have wisdom.
Thank you, Reverend Lydia. Some wonderful, wise words to finish the show. And we are at the end of our show. I can't believe where that time went. There is so much more to explore with manipulation, control, and betrayal of trust in terms of how it can affect us and what we do to go forward. So trust is powerful, and it's also risky. And when we overshare, it does open the door to connection and also to manipulation. We can navigate those little things into a state of awareness and discernment. And keeping our own counsel doesn't mean being closed off. That's not what I'm talking about. Sharing wisely with intention. And when people have earned the right to hold our story, that's when I would recommend that you share your vulnerabilities, protect your vulnerability. It's not about fear, it's about self-respect. Please do share with our viewers, Reverend Lydia, the best way to contact you.
The viewers can reach me at 1514-582-6882, 1514-582-6882. That is in Canada. They can actually also buy my mist, the Miracle Mist, which is an elevating mist. This is to elevate vibrations. It is to cleanse spaces, actually, before doing a ritual or before doing whatever treatment someone wants to do. So they can actually buy the mist. There is also on they can buy it on my website, and they can also buy it at Etsy.com. There is also what I did, also the Perfect Mate incense, which is something that people use to find the perfect partner. It seems it works. It seems some people have found love. So I it is recommended by others. So I do not promise anything, but it seems it works. I invented that some 10 years ago. And I have programs that start from my group, from my books. So I have programs on many subjects. And as a reverend and as a registered nurse and holistic nurse, I am a person that can hold a secret. I am a therapist, and I do not judge. I do not have any problem, whatever problem you have, I will help you with it, because I will not judge you. I will listen, because I am an elevated listener, because here on this channel, everyone is an elevated listener, because Dr. Jacqueline showed us to be the best listener ever, like Caroline is. So thank you, Caroline.
Thank you very much, Reverend Lydia. And do look up Reverend Lydia, and do take her up on her programs and her Miracle Mist and the mating mist, because it sounds amazing. And I really do endorse the work that Reverend Lydia does. For me, you can reach me on nomorestress@live.co.uk, or call me if you're international, +44 if you're local, 07523 120 189. You can follow me on LinkedIn and Facebook, and I have posts on Instagram as well. And I look forward to helping you bust your stress. Please do reach out, message me. I respond to all messages. And if you are having problems with somebody manipulating you and taking control of the very personal information that you're sharing, let me help you move through that so that you gain wisdom so it doesn't happen again. In closing, a few words of wisdom. In a time when everyone is encouraged to be open, remember this: your story is valuable. Not everyone has earned the right to listen to it. True strength is choosing what to share with who and when. Guard your inner world the way that you would guard something precious. Trust is a gift. It is not a default. Thank you very much for joining us. We look forward to seeing you next week at the same time, which is 7 p.m. GMT time and 2 p.m. Eastern time. Bye-bye for now, and thank you so much for joining us. It's been our pleasure to deliver this insightful episode on exploited trust, how oversharing opens the door to manipulation. Bye-bye for now.
Ever dreamed of hosting your own TV show, sharing your story with a global audience? Now's your chance to shine. At USA Global TV and Radio, we make it easy for you to create, host, and broadcast your very own TV show. Whether you're a storyteller, entrepreneur, or industry expert, we help you bring your vision to life. With our exclusive interview, live streaming, and podcasting training, you'll gain the skills and confidence to captivate your audience. Our global platform ensures your voice is heard worldwide. Join our community of creators who are already making an impact, one show at a time. Step into the spotlight. Host your own TV show on USA Global TV and Radio. Book your discovery call today at usaglobaltv.com. Copyright 2025 USA Global TV and Radio. All rights reserved. Terms and conditions apply. To learn more, visit usaglobaltv.com.
In a world craving connection, one platform dared to dream bigger. USA Global TV and Radio a beacon for global voices, authentic storytelling, and elevated listening. Led by visionary Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck, the journey from a spark to a global force is now captured in one inspiring book. Honored with YouTube's Silver Creator Award for surpassing 100,000 subscribers, discover the evolution, the challenges, the triumphs, and the unstoppable spirit that created a global movement. Executive producer Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang. Creative director Paul Garcia. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication, or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited. Now an Amazon #1 new release in paperback and ebook. Broadcasting Brilliance, the evolution of USA Global TV and Radio, is inspiring readers around the world. Join the movement that's redefining global media one story at a time.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USAGlobalTV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Music by Johnny Dyes. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative Direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Copyright 2025. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.